And we're live. We are live. It won't be just me. We're going to bring in some more guests really soon. And yeah, welcome to At Year's End 2022. All right. We're here. We're short a few people. Well, at the moment we're short by 3 people, but that's okay. We're here and we're gonna have a good time and talk about the real estate investing industry, which has been quite curious this year. There's been a lot of crazy things going on. I got a few stories that impacted the industry in some definitely different ways, man. And now I'm looking at my list here. There's some things that are related to technology, and I actually had another subject that I was going to talk about, and I was like, this would be great on the show. And of course, forgot it, didn't write it down, might have emailed it to myself, can't find it, but that's okay. So let me check the chat here. We're good. All right. We're live. We're going to start by introducing ourselves. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start. My name is Antonio Holman. I'm the founder of United States Real Estate Investor. It is a real estate investing focused media company. And I created this company because, let's be real here. I mean, first of all, let me preface this by, this is a relaxed show. So everybody calm down. Don't get upset. The school system in the United States is in the toilet. So as you get older and you realize the things that they didn't teach you. That is the culmination of this organization. And my goal is to teach everyone in the United States about real estate investing and building wealth, not just to grow up, become a worker, an employee. The point is to build wealth, teach your family and your friends how to build wealth and spread the wealth and create a wealthier society. That's my point of everything. So now, today is the At Year's End Summit, Recap Summit 2022, where I like to go through the happenings of this year that's about to close out. And we're going to have it being obviously related to the real estate investing industry. So let's start by, let's see. So on my screen here, Kyle Connor, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what's going on with you.
Yeah, Antonio, thanks for bringing this together, man. Super excited to be here. So Kyle Connor, based out of Miami, Florida. I'm the owner of DIY Wholesaling. We're a real estate solutions provider, leveraging the power of outbound marketing systems and data to help scale real estate businesses. And that's across various professions. So we work with agents, brokers, wholesalers, developers, fix and flippers, all different shapes of sizes of folks, helping to build their outbound marketing channels and really scale their business. And so that's a little bit about me.
All right. Awesome. Jeune Ortiz, tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Hello, everybody. And Antonio, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here. My name is Jeune Ortiz. I'm based in San Diego. I am a real estate investor, and I also own REI Social, which is a done-for-you social media platform dedicated to real estate investors, helping them take advantage of organic growth and network building relationships through social media.
All right. Social media is a giant pain. It's a giant headache for all of us, but this time it's necessary. That's just the truth about it all. So yeah, you're very welcomed in this industry for sure. All right. Mr. James A. Brown, what's going on, man? I talked to you earlier today.
Yeah, for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, Antonio is the producer of the show I host called This Month in Real Estate Investing, where we get 3 other guests besides myself together and go through news of the month and dissect it and bring some reality to it, from actual investors and how things are affecting us and what we plan to do. So, and then my main business, we work with investors and our investors ourselves in lease options. So we do reverse lease options where we find people that can't get qualified for loans and then go buy houses for them. So that's the short story for me.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, you got a lot going on. Just a little side note. When he agreed to be the host of This Month in Real Estate Investing, I thought he was insane because he's got a lot going on. Busy guy, but he's making it happen, man. I mean, Janae, you know this. You're in social media. You have to be everywhere strategically. And James, you're making it happen. So I applaud you very much.
Thank you, sir. All
right. Rayana T, Starre. I haven't talked to you in a little while. What's going on with you? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Antonio, and thanks for the invitation. It's nice to be here. Well, I'm Rayana Starre, and I am a strategic business coach for real estate investors. I am certified as an NLP coach, and I really work with investors to help them take action. There's a lot of mindset issues, fears, limiting beliefs, things that stop people from taking action. I help reduce overwhelm and help them break things down so they can actually get value out of all the programs they've invested in. And I'm also the program director of the Fearless Investor Program at Start Virtual. And what I've seen as a trend that I hope we can speak about tonight is just automating and the move to a virtual work environment and how to automate your business with the use of a trained virtual assistant team. And there are a lot of VA services out there. They're very expensive, especially for real estate investors. And at Start Virtual, we train our VAs for real estate investing and other lines of business. And it's a very affordable service to be able to scale your business. And so the Fearless Investor Program coaches students through that process. It's all about taking action. So it's a very take action kind of program. So I'm Rayana Starre, business coach, helping you take action, no excuses to get results.
All right, Rayana, you actually just triggered the subject matter that I forgot, and I just typed it in real quick so I can bring it up later. So,
love that.
Nice job.
Yeah, this is actually one of the bigger subject matters of the year, but it just happened about 2 weeks ago. So yeah. We're going to get into that in just a moment. All right. So, David Frizzell, let's see what's going on with you, sir.
What's going on with me? I'm David Frizzell. I am the owner of the Wholesaler's Toolbox, which is kind of like the gateway website into real estate wholesaling for all the new wholesalers. So I've had that for about 9 years now. Currently working on a new tool for wholesalers. It's going to be a CRM, but it's going to be a little bit different than most of the CRMs out there on the market. So that's going to be Flippin' Pro. It's going to be, you're going to see a lot about that this year. And then I'm also working with a company out of Sarasota, Florida here called Property Source. And we're an off-market real estate MLS system. And this is kind of unlike any other off-market or real estate platform you've seen before, where people go out and try to create their own brand and get a foothold in the marketplace. We're actually connecting with coaches and platform owners and website owners and everything. And we're creating private branded marketplaces for everybody, but they're tied in together into one big network. So if somebody goes on your platform and lists a property, buys a property, it shows across the whole network. So it's not about us, it's about everybody else. So that's an exciting project we're working on too.
Yeah, looking into the Property Source setup, it's actually, which is crazy, it's actually an idea I thought about when I first started this company, but it's like it's too much for me to handle. And
huge.
it's huge. They've implemented it beautifully. So I'm still on the the fence to add it into the mix here, but we'll see how things go. I mean, the year's starting up, so yeah.
We're currently bringing on Connected Investor. They're integrating their platform with it. We've got home investors we're talking to. They're coming on board. So there's going to be a lot of big players on there. So it's going to be real interesting. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see here and make sure we're doing good. Looks like Kyle and David, you guys might have some I hate to say the word synergy. We talked about that, James, with the words that everybody hates in the workplace, and synergy is definitely one of them. You guys might have something good going on for 2023. So
yeah.
All right.
I'd love to connect. Definitely would love to connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see here. Now, let's get into it. I got my notes up. We're going to see what happened this year. All right. So the first biggest thing, it was, let's see, 2022. It was kind of a hangover of what happened. And we're talking about COVID-19 disrupting real estate. Okay. What is that still going on, you guys think? I mean, because that was about 2 years long. And then it dies down. Then there's a resurgence. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel affected by that still, but from the notes I have here, it caused apparently the Great Resignation, which also is the emptying of commercial real estate. People chose to work from home, and more people were looking to get into real estate investing instead of going to a day job. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, is it still bothering you professionally? Do you think it's going to continue to surge back up and cause issues in real estate investing and office spaces? And what do you think? What do you got?
I think, office space. I mean, I talked to commercial agents here and there, and they're still seeing the pain of that for office space. And I think the overall mentality, it just shifted, and it's not. It really stung a lot of people to where they're going to be very hesitant to go back to the office. And they're going to be looking at residential home offices.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, though, WeWork, didn't they get another big injection of capital to keep pushing forward? I mean, that company doesn't seem to be stopping no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to look at, like for me, for instance, right? I work from home. I think a lot of us now work from home for the most part. And I love the idea of a subscription model to get out of my apartment every now and again so I can go break, have an office space, a shared office space, network with other entrepreneurs. It's really good for, small and medium-sized or solo entrepreneurs, right? So I think, to your point, of course, like the traditional business and large enterprise business is going to be probably having a much smaller sized workspace, maybe not investing as much on the commercial side as far as like a large headquarters. But I think you're going to see a lot of those people taking advantage of solo entrepreneurs and small to medium sized business owners who are just starting up. They're going to love that the short-term rental market that WeWork provides. I think it's going to be helpful.
Yeah. Now, and James, you touched on some information where you said some commercial people, they were affected. And they expressed that to you, and they're still having some issues. Now, when I talked to Amy Majuri a little while back, she actually said that her husband, he's in the commercial space. He didn't have any disruption.
Is he in commercial office or other types of commercial?
I don't know. Good question. I didn't specify, what type of commercial, but he was unaffected. But just like you just pointed out, it just depends on the type of commercial.
Yeah, because other spaces, they're going crazy. Okay. But office, and it's interesting. Yeah, thinking about WeWork, that's a different model than like the put your company into a space long term.
Okay, interesting. All right.
Yeah. I think it's going to take, and I've said this all year. I think it's going to take several years for us to figure out what the new normal is. I think with COVID, with 2 years of COVID, I think a lot of people realized that they didn't have to work a 9 to 5, that they could go out and do other things. because they were forced to, and they were forced to come up with other ways to make money, either starting their own business or doing a side hustle or whatever. So I think it's big employers are going to have to readjust to it. Commercial office space is going to have to readjust, the WeWork. I think Kyle's right on that. I think people that are, solopreneurs want to have a space they can go to, get out of the house, but they don't want to spend 40 hours a week there. So I think it's going to take some time to figure out what the new normal is.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. I figured that was really the biggest disruptor of everything was that. So, it literally stopped our lives. It literally stopped our lives, which is crazy, so.
But whole industries and opportunities.
Yes.
Sprouted in that and flourished. I dreamed of years ago, and I kicked myself that I didn't create Instacart or, things like that, because I'm so spoiled. If I don't have to go grocery shopping, I'm not going to. We're really a virtual society. It's not just about remote workforces anymore. And here again is an opportunity of true entrepreneurship. And we're entrepreneurs in real estate. There is always an opportunity, even in disasters or pandemics. How do you get goods and services to people that have to be quarantined? There are opportunities there that aren't going to go away just because the pandemic is, and it's not over yet. Everyone's acting like, the pandemic when it was in, but I check, and it is not officially an endemic yet. But, recently I traveled a couple of times and was around a lot of people, and it was, do I want to risk it? And I was just like, I didn't get COVID, and I flew, and I was at a wedding and a Christmas party. Oh my God, maybe it is going away. But again, it's like the crash of 2008, when a lot of us know of friends that lost their shirts in real estate. People are worried that's going to happen again. It's not. That was a very specific crash because of predatory lending. Opportunities, people flourished in real estate. There's a big shift now that's happened just in the last 6 months. More people are marketing to agent outreach campaigns versus sellers. So there's always just paying attention. And we say this, all of us in some capacity here say this to people: know your market.
Yeah.
Know your market so you can pivot. And you've got to pivot quickly, because if you think too long, like Instacart beat me to it. Oh, darn. You know what I mean?
You mentioned Instacart. Okay, I'm going to ask you all a question. Were you all those people who were wiping down their groceries?
No.
You weren't?
I did. I'll admit it. I did.
Me and my housemate, we were paranoid. We wore masks. Laid things down. Yep, absolutely.
I probably should have, but I didn't.
Don't do it anymore.
I
don't do it anymore.
Oh man, too funny.
Those were terrifying times.
I think we initially, like during the flatten the curve period, we were, because nobody knew what it was and what the effects were going to be. But I think that wore off on me kind of quickly. We came down to Florida, and they haven't had COVID here in 2 years. So, it's, nobody, we all ignore it here.
Nice.
Yeah. And always have, right? Florida was known for that.
Florida. Yeah.
I heard something about China, some new outbreak. They're estimating another 1 million dead. And so it's not over. Like viruses, they adapt.
Yeah.
To do what they do. And so we'll get another round. Who knows when.
Who knows what's going to melt out of those glaciers?
I've been
exactly. Thinking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's the opportunity. Where is the opportunity? Start paying attention, start planning, start researching.
Yeah.
Kyle, you brought up about the shared workspaces, and I yearn for that, because who's gotten COVID cabin fever? And where I live in Asheville, North Carolina, I do work remotely, and I can do that quite well. But I just, during COVID, it's like, it's too people-y out there. I don't want to get around people. And now it's like I'm starving for that people interaction, and think, God, it would be so great, because San Diego had several of them, like in Hillcrest and Scripps Ranch and Del Mar. There were these just great workspaces, shared workspaces. And I just love that model. And I don't think it's taken off, or it got shut down because of COVID. So that is such an opportunity for someone in the commercial space to really take advantage of. Very much.
Yeah. And see, there's like two camps of people. There are those people who, as they said, they thrived during the pandemic because everything was shut down, and they were like, oh, great, I get to stay home and focus on me, and I get a lot of clarity that way. Other people, like you mentioned, they're going stir crazy because they're locked down. They're not around people. A lot of people thrive from other people's interactions. And during that time, I was one of those people who felt like they were thriving because I had some clarity, I had time to think, I had space. But here's one thing I did notice. Whenever I went to the first in-person meeting after that time, there was something inside of me that gave me just this electrifying feeling of accomplishment. There's something about being a human being to where we have to have in-person interaction. And that can't be denied. And I hate to admit it, but yeah, that's how I felt.
We're social animals.
Yeah.
A little off topic, but that was my prediction with why I don't think Meta will ever work. The Metaverse is, it's cool. And it's like a video game, but people don't want to spend their life in a virtual, workspace or a, virtual world. I mean, you do that so long, and it's, you remember when you were a kid and got a video game and you'd play it for like 7 days straight, and then you felt like garbage because you'd been staring at the TV. I just, the Metaverse has about 48 active users right now. Yeah. And they, how many billions have they put in it? But people buy like virtual real estate and all that. I thought this is nuts.
David, you're a psychic, man. You're reading my notes here because I was going to touch on a little bit of that.
I've got something to add to that too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So EXP Realty, very progressive company. We have a virtual world, virtual offices, which was poised for the pandemic. Like, we were already set up. We'd go to conferences and go to, get tech support and stuff all in our virtual world. And yeah, there's, we've got our avatars and stuff. But the power of being able to immediately use that, where all the other brokerages are like, oh crap, now what do we do? They just weren't set up. But what you said, David, we got our avatars, and you're not seeing people's faces, so there is something missing there. We can turn mics on, we can talk to each other, but there is something missing. And I know they're doing a version 2.0 right now. That's, I don't know if it's through Zoom, but it'll be, have video, because it's that much better.
It's got to be different, because what they have currently, people, again, it's a novelty. It was the same as people paying, $10,000 or $1 million for a NFT of a monkey smoking a cigarette, right? It was a rage for a minute, and then it goes away. So they have to do something more to the metaverse to make it, fit into our world.
Yeah.
And to the sorry, Antonio, I was going to jump in.
You're good.
To the point of human interaction. So I also wholesale. I have a wholesaling business with my brother, and we did it all virtual. All of our deals virtual in Connecticut, San Antonio, Boston. Even when I was close by, I still chose to do it virtual just for saving time, and it worked well during the pandemic. But now I'm seeing it increasingly harder, and sellers are wanting to engage now in person again. And I'm seeing less deals being done on our end and with my clients that I work with, because the virtual aspect of it, I think, is starting. Like, sellers want to build rapport. I think also the market's super saturated with wholesalers. So sellers are getting hit from all these angles, and they're going to pick somebody that they have that face-to-face rapport with and that comfortability.
100%.
And so I'm seeing a lot of people starting to dial back that virtual. Still, you can still be super successful doing virtual wholesaling. I still do it myself, but it is interesting to see that shift again, and seeing people wanting to engage now more in person to sell their house. And people are going to, again, talk about being adaptive and making adjustments. Maybe you have to go back to your local market and start going back to your local market and getting in the field again. Who knows? We'll see. But I still think there's always that in real estate, there's always going to be that human element you have to incorporate.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
that relationship business of real estate, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Know, like, and trust
Yep.
is
Exactly.
much easier when you're face to face.
Yep.
When it's interesting when you get the deeper you get into business, you realize how Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar were literal visionaries. They were two of the biggest visionaries ever to say anything about business interaction. And yeah, the more we get into this and the more we talk about it, they were right about every little itty bitty thing that's happening way after their time. So yeah, I just had to bring that up.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because if those of you watching, just if you really think about what this business is, it's not really about real estate.
No.
It's about helping people in difficult situations solve a problem quickly so they can move on to the new chapter of their life. It is absolutely, I agree with Jeune, it is a relationship business in so many ways. You can say that, but really think about it. It is absolutely impossible for anyone to do this business all by yourself. Impossible. You have to find a seller. Either you're calling them, texting them, emailing them, or someone else is. So you have a team. If you're being entrepreneurial and thinking E-Myth, I don't want to be the technician. If I'm going to scale, I got to get over there into the entrepreneur thing because my time's valuable. But then there's a buyer, there's agents, there's inspectors, there's lenders, there's, title companies, escrow companies, attorneys, they're appraisers. There is absolutely no way you can do this by yourself. And if you want to be successful in this business, you've got to schmooze, you've got to network, it's got to be above being superficial. I coach a lot of people, just newer investors and investors that are at the point where they want to scale. And we talk just as simple as a buyer's list. And people can buy a buyer's list on batch leads. Not the way I would do it. It's like you have no relationship with those buyers.
Yeah.
None. So they don't care. You're just another wholesaler or whatever, pitching to them. But if you have a relationship, I have one guy, one of my most successful clients, he acquired 25 rentals in 2 years. He didn't even know anything about the business. I had to help him sell a dental practice first, he had for like 2 years, almost pretty much one buyer. And he's just done tons of wholesales. And he found one buyer. Now, he didn't sell everything to one buyer, but he had such a phenomenal relationship with that buyer, and it was the right buyer and a buyer who wanted everything he had. That one relationship made him hundreds of thousands of dollars in his one relationship.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
You're preaching to my choir right now, Rayana.
Right.
Similar to you. I mean, I coach people about, social media. It's about building relationships, and it's virtual. Sure it is. But, you have to remember that there are actual people on the other side of those chats, on the other side of those posts, and your ability to network in this business is going to be the thing that is going to either create you as the real estate investor that you want to be, or you're going to end up sitting in that dark corner alone because you think that you can do it by yourself or that you don't need other people. So 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, and Jeanne, because this is something that so many people get stuck on. Like, there's marketing to find seller leads, but then there is marketing you and your brand and promoting your brand. And all of us here today are here because we networked and we connected with Patrick Ipez, and Jeanne and I used to work together. And we all are here because we have a relationship with each other, and Antonio invited us. And now we're paying it forward to whoever's watching us. But Jeanne, there is so many real estate investors are clueless about how to leverage social media, especially in this day and age. And there's so many of us, all of us here can relate. We have podcasts, we're live, and you feel like you're talking to space because there are so many people lurking because they don't interact. If people would just engage and we're putting it out there. We're giving you our hearts and souls. We're wanting to help you be successful. Talk to us. Let us know. Engage. And then all of a sudden, someone will come out from the shadows and go, "Oh my God, I love your stuff. I've been watching you for years, and I've never seen a blip on the screen with their name on it." So Jeanne, like, how, that's what you do at REI Social. But what's a simple strategy? I've helped people with simple strategies, like first get visible, just start getting visible. But then after that, it has to shift into what value can you provide? How do you get known? So
and it's not actually even that hard to stand out.
Right.
Because as you guys know, we all probably have Facebook groups or been in Facebook groups with thousands of members in them, and posts will go out there and like it's crickets. So whoever responds, comments, likes, engages, those are the people who will rise to the top without any friction. I mean, they're just shooting to the top like a rocket, and people will take notice. And just that simple act will begin to build your authority inside of that group. And it doesn't even take that much. You just have to, acknowledge what's happening out there and be appreciative.
Show up and engage.
That's me. I'm failing at that. I am failing. And that's one of the things I'm going to work on for next year is building my personal brand more, because I know I need to do it. These days, it's important. It's vital. It's almost, you have to. Okay. And
strategies,
I'm not doing it.
Antonio, that worked 2 years ago don't work now.
No, not at all.
Plastering a bunch of content out there and, did that, got me visible. But what I found works for me is podcasting and lives and just giving, having people interacting. Video is a great medium for that because people can get a sense of your energy, your personality, who you are. So like this idea, you should do it every year, Antonio, and more lives. So, that way people, like especially if you're a coach like me, like people are hiring to work with you, there's something about you that they connect with. I found video, and it took me a while to get comfortable with it because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about them, but they have to connect with someone for there to be, an interaction or an energy for them,
That's
what
it is.
There's so much out there now on social media, and I tell people this, it's about being authentic now, right? It doesn't matter if you're good on camera. It doesn't, none of that matters.
Be real.
You just have to get out there and be real. And there's going to be a certain percentage of people that just connect with you. They're like, David tells it straight, or, Kyle tells it straight, or Antonio, or whoever. And they just have to, feel like they're connected to you. And it doesn't have to be polished, and it doesn't have to be, edited all, the greatest in the world. You just have to do it.
You're easier to relate to if you aren't. Being too polished, people can't relate to you. And also, everyone is not your seller, buyer, lender, contractor. Everyone isn't. You're looking for the people that are right for you. And so what I say to people, and this has been a mindset game changer for a lot of clients, is I want you to disqualify leads. I don't want you to qualify leads.
Right.
You're going to turn everything into a cherry, and it's a banana and it's an orange. No, it's not a cherry. So it's like, I don't know, these analogies, that's like speaking tongues. They just come spontaneously. But it's like that. It's like disqualify, because now you are empowered in the process.
Right.
I am looking for a certain criteria and fit, and everybody, it's like the Cinderella. Everyone isn't going to fit in that shoe.
Right. All right. So go ahead.
All right, Antonio, I was going to say, and to that point, Rayana, is you're going to attract the right opportunities and the right, whether it's clients, deals. When you have the ability to disqualify, and that's something me and my brother had to learn very much so this year, and even at building a new service-based business, like when you're first getting your brand, and when you're first getting your business up, like you want to say yes to everyone that's throwing a check at you and wanting you're in service. And I learned a lot of hard lessons this year because I invited the wrong clients that, although we're ready to pay me up front, felt like we had a problem to solve. It ultimately caused more problems because, one, they're not getting what we know we're going to deliver in value. It's not a good fit for their business. And then they're not going to represent our business the right way. And so now we finally got ourselves to the point where we're starting to disqualify more. And I relate the same way to our wholesaling business. Like my brother and I kept trying to, I think a lot of people do this nowadays, because you get a lot of people are talking about seller financing, subject to, novations, wholesale. There's so many ways to exit on a deal, which is a fantastic thing, but it doesn't mean you have to make every single deal work. And that means and that's especially if you're a smaller wholesaler or a smaller business and you're still trying to build your revenue and you haven't really figured out your niche yet. I see a lot of people spending their time on the wrong deals. And when you only have so much time in the day, you're missing out on opportunity trying to make the wrong.
So much power when you can walk away from the deal.
So I think that's a really good lesson to teach. And I can definitely speak to experience from that.
Yeah. And nothing's worse than trying to talk somebody into something.
Yes.
That is the worst ever.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm sharing some things on Facebook for the chat. All right. So the next part of this, which is funny because every time I bring this topic up to James, he immediately starts laughing. The demise of iBuyers. Okay. I mean, I don't know if real estate agents hate these people as much as real estate investors do. I'm not sure. So let's dive into the notes that I have here, because this is interesting. All right, Zillow Offers shutters. Okay, according to Fortune.com report, Zillow Offers was a $6 billion home flipping business disaster. Back in February 2022, Zillow reported an $800 million loss. All right.
Wow.
Next, Offerpad in November, the New York Stock Exchange threatened to boot Offerpad off, plummeting share price. Offerpad stock slipped below $1 per share in late October, positioning the iBuyer to be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, which could make it more difficult to buy and sell shares. Now, the last one, Opendoor, in a Business Insider report, Opendoor CEO Eric Wu says the company's algorithm didn't predict housing market shifting so quickly. Well, no shit, okay? Anyway, the quick market shifts rivaled those of the housing crisis of 2008, he said. The last part of this, the company posted third quarter losses of over $400 million. Now, what do you guys got to say to these people? Are they clowns? Are they innovators? Are they killing the industry? What do you think?
Yes.
There.
Yeah. I mean,
Listen, okay. So I ran a rehab company in Detroit.
Yeah.
All right. And if anybody's ever rehabbed houses, it's hard enough when you're on the ground, face to face with your crews every day. If you try to be an iBuyer and do that and have all those levels and everything, back to what we were just talking about, this is a relationship business. Okay. You've got to know your buyers, your sellers, your contractors, your title companies, and all these things. And that model is so incredibly hard to run because they think they can just throw money at it and do it. And there's too many components. it's rough. You know, I can't see one of them working long term. I mean, they can make money like if the market's going crazy, because, you know, if you're buying it this, you know, and the market just keeps going up, you know, then it's hard to lose. But in a normal market or a declining market, that's not going to work.
Well, what they're trying to do, I feel like, is they're trying to make it so transactional and automate it so much to the point where they're trying to be like an Amazon or a Walmart or like these massive corporations that have built these. Yeah, you can do that with products and service, like goods that are at a very small scale. But to all the points that you just mentioned in the relationship aspect, like there's just too many people in the mix to make a real estate transaction work or a real estate investment opportunity work. And there's too much of a human element. Like
wait, hey, Kyle, here's one part you just mentioned. There's way too many people wanting their part of the pie also.
Fair enough. Yeah, too much money
Right.
to go around. So I don't know. I just feel like I get this sense that they're trying to be like an Amazon of real estate, and you're just not. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I mean, I just read. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, even the most solid deals that you get, there's still 100 different places where that deal can break down and fall off the rails, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to do deals at scale with people that you don't know, and I mean, how many pieces are getting missed? You know, how many of all of those I's aren't getting crossed, or I's aren't getting crossed.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Problem.
Yeah, you want to automate as much as you can, but there are certain aspects that need a human oversight. But what comes to mind in simple terms is, where's Blockbuster today? Netflix.
Yeah.
Where is the cassette or the VCR player? You know, and that's going to happen in this industry too. There's going to be innovations like EXP. You know, that
I was just going to bring it up. I just read yesterday that Carvana, their stock's collapsing because their business model isn't working, right? So you can't automate some things. It's, you know, they keep trying.
Very similar. It was an upticking market, very similar. Yeah, they were overpaying and then selling them for even more. It was crazy. I've got family member and a good friend that sold, and they looked and saw what Carvana had sold those cars for. I was like, how the hell did they do that? They did it for a little bit just because they were riding that wave, but
they're not going to do it much longer the way things are going.
No, the wave's crashing.
Yeah.
So now I wonder if this ties into, man, this is so funny because James, this brings up a lot of things I always mention to you. What does it say about all the real estate investing apps? Because Janae, you said it. Rayana, you said it. Okay, it's relationship based. You're not getting real relationships through an app. You're just not. Okay, so there's a surge of app after app after app that's really real estate investing. Now,
shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, is
now it's privy.
Is this benefiting? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jeff Bezos is in it. Is this benefiting the industry, or do you think it's just slowly killing it? I wonder.
I think it's a matter. I think that's not a black and white answer. I think that's a gray answer, because I think if used properly, strategically, with awareness, they have their uses. Like I go onto an app next door and find handyman and stuff. That app connects me to people. Social media does connect you to people. It gets it started, but does it go, okay, now invite each other over for coffee. Okay, we're going to walk you to the door. It doesn't do everything. There's a purpose for things, and it's not expecting, you know, your house cleaner to walk the dog and wash the car too. It's knowing the use and using it strategically.
What about, check this out, okay? What about the 19-year-old who picks up one of these apps? They throw, I don't know, $300 into it, and are walking around going, hey, I own 100 doors right now. You know, we talked about that earlier, James. And it's laughable, okay? Because they're absolutely disconnected. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about relationships and being able to touch and visit the actual property and you know what's going on, these people literally have no idea. They're just like, here's my money. Good luck. Good luck. You know, it sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen.
Do your research, look at reviews, ask other people.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot. Don't be naive. Yeah.
I think the good thing is it opens the door for the fractional investing. You can invest $100. And we talked about this on the show earlier, like getting into real estate investing with 20% down, you know, the traditional investing model, you got to have a boatload of money. And a 19-year-old kid just out of college or high school can't do that. So it's opening that up. But similar to the iBuyers, who's steering the ship?
Right, exactly.
You can get hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, but if
who was steering the ship of Robinhood when that debacle happened? Does anybody know that answer? It doesn't seem like they know the answer either. Yeah, these apps,
you know, as Rayana said, there's a lot of these tools that are helpful, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, services where you can get good data and you can, you know, they add to your business. But you know, this is my thing, right? Because I promote a lot of these different services and things. But I'll tell anybody that if you're serious about learning this business, you don't need any of them, right? Go out and find, you know, distressed properties and start, you know, put notes on doors or start tracking down owners. When I started wholesaling for the first year, I didn't have a website. I didn't have business cards. I didn't have prop stream. I didn't have anything, right? And I just drove in my car and looked for houses all day long. And I tore it up, right? So these people getting into the business, the way you learn is to go out, know your market, find properties, talk to people, look at houses, go talk to a buyer, you know, but these are all distractions, right? Oh, I've got $600 worth of subscriptions and I'm not doing any deals, right? Mm-hmm. I've got props, I've got all these things. Well, it's because you're not going and doing anything. You're sitting in front of the computer all day. You're not getting out on the street learning the business, right? So they're great. They're great, you know, for websites or for data or for whatever you want to use them for, but they're a big distraction for the new wholesaler or new investor because they're not getting out and actually doing it.
Yeah, they can hide behind those things and think, oh, look at me. I'm making, make believe. I'm like, I coach people like this all the time. Less now because I have a choice on who I coach versus working for organizations where I just had to coach whoever was put in front of me. But it's just even being in a company where we are helping people automate their marketing, even then I have to coach people like, look, you can't just plop VAs on the phone and just go. You've got to lead. You've got to train them. You've got to work with them. You've got to create SOPs. You've got to use process. You know, you still have to work. You know, you still have to show up and do something.
Yeah,
you know?
I get asked that all the time. Should I hire a VA? But people want to hire a VA so they don't have to learn it, right? They don't.
Have to learn it first.
That's always my answer. I say learn after you learn how to do it, and after you can get deals, then hire a VA.
Yeah, if you can't do every role in your business, unless it's something like, you know, I don't know how to put, you know, change the oil in my car. I could probably figure it out. I don't want to. There's certain things like I don't want to do the bookkeeping and accounting of my business. I've just got to find someone trustworthy. So it's not in all aspects of your business, but boots on the ground. As the entrepreneur in any business, you better know how to attract business and sell. You have to know those skills. Whether you hire other people to do it or not, you have to be able to generate leads and convert them, or you don't have a business. And you can't be held hostage by other people doing that for you if you can't roll up your sleeves and get on the phone. So, you know?
I have a funny, and you guys are spot on. I have a very, very quick story. So I posted the other day about ChatGPT, the new AI technology, and it goes right in line. Like what we're talking about right now is apps and technology software is a tool to help with operational efficiency, though it's not going to make you automatically close 100 deals, right? You have to know sales, you have to know business, you have to do the work. But I posted about the power of what this AI can do and what it can do to help speed and scale a business and do the small things in the business, the remedial work, and to help empower your team. And I showed how I just literally typed up run comps and run analysis of this property and recorded my phone. And this bot just gave me up-to-date comps in a matter of a minute. And so that's the way of how we're going to implement that into our business with some of our team members. But a kid had commented, he said, man, I gotta incorporate this now. I gotta do this. Maybe I'll close my first deal now that I have this. I'm like, dude, you got it all wrong. Like this bot's not going to make you close your first deal. Like
Right.
You have to go out and sell, and you have to do the work of consistency in your marketing. It could be driving for dollars. It could be knocking on doors. He doesn't have any, a penny to do his marketing, but I'm concerned about what some of the social media and some of these tools that we're talking about in apps and making people think like if they subscribe to it or if they adopt it, that all of a sudden it's going to make them close their first deal. And the answers are really simple. And it's much easier than that. But I couldn't help but crack up because I was like, this isn't going to make you close your first deal. That having this, you're pointing the finger at the wrong things. And you just got to, again, I just wanted to add that story because it's just a microcosm for maybe what we're going to see some trouble from other people. But
everyone wants the easy button, right?
Right.
Where's that easy button? I mean, I think, if I were to give someone advice, like, a kid who wants to get started in real estate investing, I'd say if you're really serious about this, then find an investor that you can shadow and basically be his slave or her slave,
Absolutely.
and do everything that they tell you to do. If they want you to walk half a mile and knock on every door, then you walk half a mile and you knock on every door.
Patience, grasshopper, wax.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, get boots on the ground, implement and take action and actually learn what it takes. Because this business is not for the faint of heart. And it sounds great and it sounds wonderful. Everybody wants, to be a real estate investor. It's I mean, all of the, cable shows have made us all very popular and everyone wants to do what we do, but there is no easy button any more than there's an easy button to open up any other kind of business, Yeah. But I think the TV shows have kind of done us a kind of not good favors because they're making it seem like it's so easy and they've actually probably flooded the market with a lot of investors who don't know what they're doing. No.
There's the, we're so on the same page today, Jeanne. There's then the TMI and chasing shiny objects where people get so overwhelmed. You do need a certain amount of education. You do need to know what you're doing, but I would say forget education and do what Jeanne just said, because you are going to learn so much more by being in the trenches, patience, grasshopper, wax on, wax off. What's funny about that is I will actually assign people watching The Karate Kid as a coaching assignment for them. Get it?
Good.
I really will. And I always recommend they read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. But there's two camps here. There's the people who want to dive in, put me in the game, coach, put me in the game, coach. And they're dangerous because it's like, I had a guy I just started coaching who's like about to close on a house. He doesn't know where the money's going to come from. He doesn't know how to analyze anything. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell you right now, you will never do this again. Not while I'm coaching. Like it was dangerous. Like I was scared for him. And it was before my watch. But then you have the other camp where, I've seen people that are like the webinar junkies and they've been around and call themselves a real estate investor. And they've been around for 3, 4, 5 years and never done a deal because they're just, I just need more information. And it's so this, what I do as a coach is I break it down. I said, look, there's a lot of skills that you need to know along the way. We're going to start with this one skill right now. And then the next skill. And then the next, and before you know it, you'll look. And most investors, new investors, are afraid to talk to sellers, right? That's pretty common, right?
Yeah.
And once they get over that fear, and so it's just breaking it down. That's why I love your suggestion, Janae, because they are going to learn. I would much rather learn from a guru who is streetwise than someone who has a PhD and has never been out there in the world doing what they learned. It's all theory and concept. I would much rather learn from someone who has been in the trenches doing it.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox now.
Hey, you're hitting all the valuable points, so that's it. And the one thing I wanted to touch on really quickly, which total side note, Janae mentioned HGTV and things like that. They make everything look so shiny and beautiful and perfect. But the one thing that I really enjoy about the podcast that I do, the one question that I love the most is when I ask them about their most unsuccessful time. That's when you realize the humanity of this industry, because people just see wealth, they see houses, they see cars, they see checks. You don't know what happened to make that person so motivated to even go as far as they've gone. And those are the moments that create who we are, is when we're down on the ground in a pit, wondering how the hell am I getting out of here? So yeah, you said it, man. It's valuable information here.
And I'll tell you something that I coach to my customers all the time too, is to share your failures and show how you're overcoming them, how you're getting through them, that you have the fortitude, that you know how to take something that might be falling apart and put it back together again. Because people are watching and lenders are watching, and they want to know that you're not going to just give up once the first, hard thing happens to you.
Yeah.
Sellers want to know that you're not going to give up once their deal starts getting wobbly, and so it actually makes people trust you a lot more when they can see that, hey, not everything is perfect, but I've got the fortitude and the stick-to-itness and the knowledge and know-how to still make it work anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be resilient and persevere. There is no such thing as a perfect rehab. There is no such thing as a perfect deal. In this business, expect the unexpected. You are getting paid really well to solve problems. I have a couple I coached, and just their world was falling down around them when they showed up. And I said, okay, Liz, look, you're going to get through this. Right now, we're fighting fires. We're not marketing for new deals, nothing. Right now, we're going to plug up the holes and fight fires. And they're like, okay, I could just see them shift. Like, look, let's just zero in on what's urgent. You've got to be able to know how to survive and being really resilient and bouncing back. I love that, Janae.
This is giving me a good idea for some content. I feel like next time I make a video, it's going to say, or like if I end up on an HGTV show, it's going to say at the beginning, warning, this takes massive sacrifice, long nights, lost money, like some sort of disclaimer, because that's the reality of it. People it's so misunderstood when you're watching social media and the TV, but the people that are in it, we all on the call understand that. Like we all understand what it takes. If you're actually doing it, you know how hard it is.
And here's why we got into this topic, but it still is tied into what we were talking about. It was talking about technology, where these iBuyers, they think they can just use technology to conquer everything. And it all comes down to being human. So therefore, we are still in this struggle with new technology and remaining human beings to conduct our lives in proper manners. And so the next thing is still related to technology, because we're surrounded by it, and that's just how it is. Cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Okay. I don't know if you guys knew I was going there, but that's where we're at now. We're still in this nightmare of technology. It's beautiful, but it's terrible at the same time. The one thing that I thought was really interesting that reared its head throughout the year was the word or the words smart contracts. Okay. And the way it was explained to me was, for example, when you talk about real estate, you attach a smart contract to this property, and just like an NFT, okay, whenever that property or an NFT gets sold to the next person, the creator of that property or the owner of the property when the smart contract was created, they perpetually gain commissions every time that property is sold. So I don't know if I just butchered that, but that's the bare understanding that I have. Now, when you talk about real estate, well, that sounds incredible. It sounds amazing. Okay. When you look at it from an NFT aspect, it sounds amazing as well, because a lot of artists, they'll make a painting and they'll sell it. They get paid one time. That painting gets sold forever, and they're still living, eating ants on the street. I don't know what's going on. They're not making any money. So when you talk about smart contracts in real estate, it sounds incredible. Now, I also heard there was actually a way that smart contracts can be hacked, which apparently all technology can be hacked. So it sounds like we're all kind of screwed, but let me continue. So the question I pose, are smart contracts in real estate the future? That's one question. And so let me dive into a little bit of these notes I have. It says, allow fractions of property to be sold rather than the entire piece of real estate. A report from Cobalt.io said that one of the smart contract's most common security pitfalls is the unit overflow / underflow / overflow. The underflow / overflow issue could cause a catastrophic loss for the crypto holder's account and make the crypto hacker rich effortlessly. Now, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. All that stuff scares me to death. I have no idea.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It just all seems so intangible. And even when you're attaching it to a house, a brick and mortar asset, there's something still intangible about it. And I just, no, thank you.
Come on. Hey, David, look, if you sell me a house and you're like, this is great, I'm going to get paid no matter what he does with that house down the road. And then next thing you know, I don't know, 5 years later, I say, David, the contract got hacked. I don't know what to do. You're going to be pissed. Like, man, I should have kept that house for myself. What do you think about that? Is that insane?
To me, it's insane. I've looked into a lot of the blockchain as it relates to real estate, right? The crypto stuff and the NFTs and all that. I think, some of it's hype and some of it has really, it's smart. The blockchain technology to take the place of title is smart, but it's making that transfer from what we do now to the crypto world or the blockchain world, because if a lien's filed against the property, how do you put a lien against blockchain or crypto? Are the counties going to let you do it? Are we going to just eliminate title companies? Right? It's you don't need real estate investors anymore because I'm just shooting you some crypto coin to buy a property. There's so many components to this that it makes it really hard to make the switch. And I know a lot of people, powerful people with a lot of money are pushing to make it happen. But they're, when you're dealing with all the governments and all the, and all the counties and all these working parts, it's going to be hard. I think the only thing that will happen maybe a little bit quicker is being able to tokenize a property for investment purposes. So you can take a commercial property or even a residential properties or a multifamily or whatever, and break it up into, $100 or $1,000 tokens to make investing easier for somebody that maybe doesn't have a lot of money, right? So you can get more people in it. But then you run into, do the token holders have any voting rights on who's managing the property and the maintenance on the property and all that thing. So there's just so many things to address going down this, this crypto NFT blockchain tokenization rabbit hole. It's a lot, but I don't, as far as, perpetual smart contracts that keep paying, I'm not a fan. I think it would be a nightmare.
I don't understand how that would even be possible. Why wouldn't you hand over full 100% ownership? Why?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs.
Well, it's like accredited investors who, get into a fund and they're all owning pieces of property. If you think about that, like people that are running funds to acquire large groups of like, a lot of commercial kind of syndications will do that. It's the same concept. It's just harder to, again, this is where the divergence between technology and human contact creates a rift. I'm with Janae. Like, I've been fascinated by crypto for years before it was really a thing. And, just intangible stuff. Like, yes, I have some retirement accounts that are invested in stock market and, they're diverse and all that, but it's low risk for me because I don't, my intuition, I don't like intangible things. That's why I like to invest in business or in real estate, in things that I can see, count on, touch, feel, So again, I think we're looking at technology versus human beings, and with the development of AI, there are some things that are fascinated by that, but it's also very scary. If you think about, is there oversight? Is there safety? I don't know if this was a fluke, but I saw a video of a woman that said that, 29 people were killed in a Japanese AI, facility that's training robots for war. And, so you can really, it's, where is oversight and how much is too much technology and where do we compensate for human error? But what about a technology that goes haywire and takes over? So there really is this balance between humans and technology.
I just
you see it with FTX, right? FTX, all the people that lost their money, and it's like, oh, your wallet's gone. Sorry, and it's that's
which wasn't supposed to happen in blockchain technology.
Exactly. And the other thing I was thinking about as you were talking, if you're a wholesaler, how the hell do you navigate a smart contract as a wholesaler? My mind's blown. I don't know.
You don't?
No.
Yeah.
That's not a list I'd be building.
Yeah. Exactly. Do they have a smart contract on that property? Never mind that property.
Not
you do you do a smart assignment or a smart double close.
Yeah.
Do I get royalties on my assignment then? My perpetuating earnings?
I'm building passive
perpetuating assignment fee.
Yeah, right.
All right. So you guys touched on this earlier. David, I think you did. Digital real estate in the metaverse. Okay. And which is funny because I kind of thought this was kind of going away, but then about 2 weeks ago, I heard something else about it. So, and I have here in my notes, is this a non-story ? Could be a massive winning sleeper investment, possibly. Now, this is what I just heard recently is they are purposely and literally creating digital clones of real buildings for people to buy or for people to enter into during the metaverse. And they'll be greeted with advertisements and you can buy digital goods and this and that. And people are paying quote unquote real money for these digital properties. Is this absurd? Or is this going to evolve into something good?
That is an expensive gamer reality.
I vote for absurd.
It's
Yeah.
absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I mean, it does have the
Absurd.
potential.
Yes.
Yeah. It has a potential for these companies. I mean, for example, Sony. I think Sony's already got some metaverse properties or something like that. They're going to make a killing just because of their name, and people will spend money on digital Sony assets, quote unquote assets. The big companies are going to flourish, and the regular people, they're going to be like, what am I doing? Am I wasting my money? Or are they just going to be totally unconcerned? That's what I wonder.
What even is the point? I don't
That's
know.
what I think.
I feel like maybe I'm too old for the metaverse. Maybe because I don't understand what is the point.
I don't get it.
Says the social media guru. There you have it, folks.
Yeah. Well,
that's all you need right there.
Well, that's different though. Because
yeah, that's got use.
Social media is actually about a human connection.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of it, this is like you're virtual forever, and you own virtual bits and bytes.
Right.
Make believe world.
And you're gonna get just bombarded with ads.
Yes, which your digital self could be hacked.
Yeah.
Oh, what a nightmare waiting to happen. Okay, so the next.
This sounds like the 2023 version of Pet Rocks, right?
I know. Yeah, it does. It does.
Waste your money on it.
There is opportunity there. Advertising.
Yeah, it's just advertising, really.
If anybody goes to the metaverse.
Yeah. So the next topic I have here is the Bitcoin crash and FTX, which you guys mentioned before. Yeah. That was huge. That was a massive embarrassment for the CEO. Was Sam Bankman-Fried? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Fried, yeah.
It says here, according to Forbes.com, on December 13th, 2022, the ex-CEO of the world's fourth largest crypto exchange, Sam Bankman-Fried, was arrested on December 12th by Bahamas law enforcement after the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York shared its indictment with the Bahamian government. All right, so now they're chasing him all over the world. FTX chief executive John J. Ray III appeared before Congress and accused the FTX founder of seeking to undermine its bankruptcy process by aiding Bahamas authorities in a $100 million crypto transfer. So he was throwing his weight around to try to get out of trouble, it seems. Now, the last part of this, which is really interesting to me, I'm a big Shark Tank fan. We're all business people. I don't know if you like that show. I think it's pretty cool. Kevin O'Leary, he invested a lot in FTX. From my understanding of Kevin, he fought crypto for a few years. And as soon as he jumped in, he lost his shirt. What do you got to say about all of this?
He was right.
He was right, yet he did it anyway. He should have just stayed out of it, I guess. Is crypto coming back? What do you think?
There is, and Rayana said this, there's no physical asset behind crypto. It's all speculation.
That's not true. Some coins are backed by gold. Some are. Some
are they?
Yeah. I have a friend that kept trying to get me in on one, and I forget the name of it. Uh-huh. And she was concerned about what happened, and she said, "My coin's backed by gold," and I'm like, "I didn't know you could do that with crypto."
I've said from the beginning, I don't think that the governments of the world will let crypto live on. They might want to have their own coin. The U.S. is trying to do their own crypto coin, and I think they'll do that and eliminate everything else. I think they probably love seeing FTX collapse, and they probably want all the other ones.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite.
Really?
David. As much as I agree with Jeune that it makes me nervous, I'm telling you, the way the world is going, whether we like it or not, there are technologies that first you're a lunatic, then people are angry, then they're like skeptical. Then they're like, and then eventually it just evolves where, oh yeah, it was like that all along. And what is happening, I think, is more and more technology. Now, technology was designed to make our lives easier and release us of having to do a lot of things. What it's done is just quickened the pace and caused us to feel like we've got to speed up and do more. And this is a technology that's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Just like everyone laughed about Facebook. That was a college social platform where they were making fun of girls at first, and now, I mean, here is Google, here is Facebook, LinkedIn, some of the others, and they suck at customer service, and yet they are billion-dollar industries. There is no customer service. If I get locked out of my account, I don't even try to get.
I'm back on MySpace now. Back to MySpace.
But once that
just you and Tom
technology is
Tom
trying to be ahead of the curve.
It's going to get improved. It's going to get improved. They'll learn from the mistake. They'll improve it because things are going to start breaking down for things to be better.
Now, listen.
Just look at history.
Rayana, check this out. So to talk about the aspect that David brought up was this gives the governments a green light to step in and take control of the situation, which we already know they're already trying to work on creating their own, cryptocurrency. And on your side, you're saying that this was a giant mess up. They're going to fix it and it's going to become better. Now,
I didn't say that.
Didn't you say it's going to improve?
I just said that will happen. The technology will evolve. What I was saying is it's not going to go away.
Okay. You don't think the government's going to step in and try to?
Too many people that are too invested in it. It's a technology that's here to stay that will improve, but it's not going to go away.
You don't think the government's going to try to stop it?
If the government tries to do something with it, they're going to try to do it because they'll profit from it.
Yeah, well, true.
You
know what I mean?
You can't tell me any government, but the United States government, who has the petrodollar that's used by the world to buy and sell oil and everything else, and they're going to allow people to transfer, to pay each other and do things on a cryptocurrency that they can't track. It's not going to happen.
Are you guys willing to accept cryptocurrency for payment?
No.
I'm not right now, just because if I ever do, I have to get more educated. And right now I'm like with Jeune. I mean, I say, hey, it's here to stay, but I don't want to play.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
There's other ways to make money. There's other ways I have more control that I feel more comfortable with. Thank God that I don't need crypto.
If you got paid for your service about 6 months ago, basically what you got paid now compared to that is almost nothing.
It's about a third.
Yeah, that's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah. The problem
but if we had this conversation a year ago, you would have been wealthy.
Yeah, true.
So
the problem with, from what my understanding, if it's not backed by gold, like the one you're talking about, Rayana, and I've looked at that one, it's smoke and mirrors, like the Dogecoin or whatever. One guy goes blabbing and all of a sudden the value's drastically different. Like, it's too unstable. Like, we need stability in our.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is, James, you just touched on the next part here. So smoke and mirrors. Okay. And this goes back. So you guys are psychic over here. You're going through my notes and don't realize it. Kyle, you touched on ChatGPT. James, you just talked about smoke and mirrors. Now, let's get into ChatGPT. That's the newest technological thing that just blew up over the last, 2-3 weeks? And it's amazing AI chat. You talk to it, and it has the power to respond almost human-like. Okay, it can write code for you. And related to what you just said, James, smoke and mirrors, talking about crypto. I was talking to one of my friends, and I said, you know what? I wonder if you could use ChatGPT to write crypto coin code. So what I typed in, I said, hey, give me the code for Antonio coin. And it responded and it wrote out the entire code. Okay. This thing can write out WordPress plugins code. It can write out HTML code for whatever you need. Whatever you're asking it, it's giving it to you. Especially when you talk about writing code and you're not a coder, you can learn code. I mean, there's YouTube, there's Google, but this thing's literally giving you the code right there that you can copy and paste. A lot of coders, they're actually putting their code into ChatGPT.
Is it open source?
Yeah.
Yes, it's open source. And they're saying, tell me what's wrong with this code. It tells them what's wrong with the code. And here is the proper code. They copy, paste it, they're gone. So that power of ChatGPT is insane, seemingly. All right. So now here's the question. Is this technology, is this horrifying or is this helping? It's helping write blog posts. It's helping write sales copy, everything. I mean, you guys are into a lot of sales activity. Are you going to use ChatGPT to help you in your business? What do you think about this?
I'm stoked. I'm very excited about it for a number of reasons. We talked about ChatGPT is not going to go and sell a property or buy a property for me, right? It's not going to go do that, which is what I enjoy doing. It's not going to go build a relationship for me. Those are things I like to spend my time doing, right? The things I don't like to spend my time doing are administrative work, even doing deal analysis, which again, I wouldn't trust technology always to underwrite my deals. I'm not that naive to do that. But when I think about how my team can use it, my cold calling team or my follow-up specialists, when it allows them to do their job more efficiently, when it creates SOPs for me in a much quicker fashion, sales scripts, et cetera. If I can do those things at a fraction of the time and it makes my team do their job more efficiently, that's a win for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So Kyle, you answered. I'm going to go through the line here of all of you. Jeune, are you interested in ChatGPT? Have you thought about using that to implement it into your business? You're in social media, so copy is extremely important.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I see ChatGPT just as another tool. Until it does, technology still can't replace the human, right? You still need to check it. You still need to make sure that it's going to work for your business and all of those things. But as a tool to shortcut and just get you some kind of raw draft that you can look at and then improve, I mean, thousands of hours can be saved. And yeah, I'm 100% stoked about getting into GPT and checking it out.
Okay. All right. So James, what do you think? Are you trying to utilize that?
Not yet. I just watched a video today that somebody sent me that a guy had it write the code for like a bouncing marble.
Yeah.
And then something wasn't working. The marble wasn't showing up. And he asked it, like, help me out here. Like, what's wrong? And it kind of whittled it down. And then he was a coder. So he's like, I could take this the next step,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see that, like, I don't know, my mind, like, I don't know, besides maybe like writing blog posts, which I've seen some stuff like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. And I come from a graphic design and copywriting background. I can see like having it do the bulk of it. And then I go in and I tweak it and make it bring out my personality and stuff. So
there you go.
Other than that, I can't think of other ways, but I'm sure somebody smarter than me is going to figure out other ways. And I'll be like, oh, I'll do that.
All right. Rayana, what do you think?
Well, I'm interested and curious, and I don't know enough, but I think, like Jeune, it could be a tool. And I definitely want to do a little research and learn more about it.
Do you have any thoughts on where you could possibly use it in your business?
Well, I think like James was talking, I think in marketing, it could help with some of the marketing pieces. And I'm not a coder, so I'm sure there's lots of uses for it but I don't know enough. I need to learn more.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
David,
Well,
what do you
come
think?
back to me and ask me later.
Yeah. David, what do you think? You got a lot of opportunities to use this possibly.
I think it's witchcraft, and I hear a lot about stuff like this, or I just read an article last week about how AI was going to put artists out of work, right? Because it can draw, or paint or whatever pictures better than artists, and you wonder where it's going to stop, because something like this, I mean, right now coders are using it to put their code in and to correct things and all that. But at what point does this get so good that it eliminates the need for a coder? Right. At what point, it's scary. It's a little scary, and I understand we've got to change with it. But I think Rayana said earlier, things are just changing so rapidly now with technology that it's almost exhausting. It's scary. I love tools. I use tools that help me to blog or to create content and all that, and I'll certainly look at it for that. But it makes me a little nervous too.
Yeah, you mentioned replacing jobs and the coders. I've seen multiple articles saying that coders are going to be obsolete because of technology like this. Now, just for the fun of it, I was messing around with it. The ChatGPT thing, it's hilariously fun, right? Mm-hmm. So I put in there, I said, how does a heart surgeon repair a torn aorta? It gave me step by step from prepping the patient to sutures to everything. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
That doesn't mean you're qualified to go in there and do heart surgery.
I think it does.
Oh my goodness.
It doesn't.
It blew my mind. So
if they can integrate that with WebMD, right? And then I have something wrong with me, I can go on WebMD. It just tells me, like, make an incision, right? And I can walk me through it.
I'm downloading it right now because I've always wanted to be a brain surgeon. I'm downloading the app right now.
Oh, it's too much. So the other aspect about that is already trying to kill the technology. Google says that AI technology to write blog posts and articles is against their policy. Mm-hmm. So what they are trying to do is implement software to catch the writing that has been generated by AI. Mm-hmm. And they say it uses a lot of repetition. It uses the word the more often than a human would. And the articles have 0 typos. So they're actually trying to crack down on this anyway. First of all, David, I think we talked about this, about typos. I don't have any typos in my writing. To me, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, if I'm texting to you, there's typos probably all over the place. But I don't feel comfortable just leaving a typo in there. But now it seems like if I use AI to get me started on articles and things like that, I guess I have to leave at least one typo in what I'm writing.
Well, there's also another reason for that in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Our brains, I mean, computer technology was developed because of the human brain. The human brain created computer technology that now is just emulating a human brain, and on steroids. But, the other reason to have little mistakes in your copy and not be perfect is because it opens a loop in someone's mind that actually engages them more because it wasn't perfect. It trips them up a little bit, and they actually are more interested in the content because of mistakes. Like the gal who trained me and has trained a lot of people, Jeune and I know, in NLP, she does all their marketing, and she actually talked about that in the NLP training class, that to leave little mistakes because and they would drive me crazy in the training because they'd start to tell a story and it was part of their performance, and one of them would interrupt and they'd never finish the story, and then they'd come back later to finish the story because it kept you wanting more and like it leaves you hanging. Okay. But that's a completely different reason. It was just a side note. But yeah, you know, a little mistake here and there. Again, and if you think about back to human versus technology, when we talked, David, earlier about being authentic and being real and not being perfect and just getting on the camera without makeup on and being real or whatever, being real, like making mistakes, you know, you're going to be more relatable, or the perfectionists are going to want to critique you or interact with you to correct something. Isn't that what we want? We want engagement. We want people, you know.
That was one more thing I was going to say earlier. Humans love to see other humans be human. That's it. They love it. We love it. That's it.
So I'm on the right track by not putting on makeup, Rayana?
Apparently.
All right.
You've got the man
filter,
here. That's
no,
man
no
makeup.
filter, no filter here. This is all natural.
Hey, it depends on how big of a superstar you become, because when you get so big, they force you to wear makeup. So, man. All right. So we're going to touch on to the last topic of the night. This is the biggest looming thing that's going on. I want to get an answer from each one of you. Is there a recession coming? Is it a big deal or is it just a dream?
It's already here.
You say it's already here. Some people say it's nothing.
How do you define a recession, I guess?
That's the question.
And compared to what? Compared to 2008, 9?
Correct.
You know?
Are you afraid? You don't care? Or I'm just going to do what I've been doing anyway?
I started a business in 2007 when the recession hit and grew it, doubled it the first year and continued to grow it by 30%. But it was a recession-proof industry and it was a happy accident. I just got lucky, you know? So, I mean, being in the stock market during a recession, I don't know. But, you know, it's not going to, I don't think, and I'm not an expert and I am not a super researcher, but you know, when people think of a recession in real estate, like they get nervous thinking, whoa, what happened in 2008 can happen now. No, it's a completely different situation. We don't have predatory lending. We don't have these ridiculous. Now people might start to think that because the interest rates are rising, but it isn't the same. That's why creative financing is such a great strategy right now. Yeah. You know, subject to and seller financing.
So you know? when you hear the word, this is a question I want to get from each one of you. When you hear the word recession, does it trigger something inside of you that makes your entrepreneurial brain want to work double time and dive in deeper? Kyle.
Yeah. So listen, I'm 30. I just turned 30 years old. I was not investing at the time of 2008. I didn't have the same experience that maybe some of the other folks on the call. I'm not calling you guys old. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
How dare you?
We are.
That's what I heard.
Just saying. It's funny because I'm in the industry now and everyone is talking, you know, folks that I work with, everyone's talking and relating it to 2008. So I personally, the way that I've seen this, I'm thankful growing up in this age where the access to information and what I'm seeing a lot of people are doing is just adapting. Okay, let's take it from a perspective of a wholesaler or maybe a real estate investor. Okay, maybe we're starting to shy away from what I'm seeing now is not a lot of single family fix and flips happening, not a lot of that, which was huge during 2019, 2020. A lot of my wholesale deals were single families. I'm seeing people now target more large multifamilies and learning how to do creative exits and seller financing and subject to, and the access to information and the access to mentors and the access to people to gather that information much quicker than maybe these resources were available during those times or maybe in past decades wasn't nearly as accessible. And I'm excited because if I don't know something, I can easily go teach myself in a matter of months to weeks, if that. and adapt a different strategy within my business, and take the framework that I have within my business and apply it to a different property type, or just an exit strategy, if you will, or type of service, whatever it is. I've learned in the last 2 years being in entrepreneurship, or 3 years being entrepreneurship, that I've had to just adapt as the market adapts. And I think now that we have access to information, it makes it easier, and mentors, it makes it easier to do that. But I can't, I'm not an economist, and I really haven't lived through a lot of these things enough to be able to say whether or not we're in a recession, to be honest with you. But I just am excited at the opportunity to adapt to make my business successful.
All right. Jeune, when you hear the word recession, what does that make your brain do? What do you think?
I have a very neutral feeling about it. And I think it's just because it doesn't matter really what the economy is going to do. We will still have to adapt. Just like Kyle said, I mean, life goes on, no matter if we're in a recession or if we're out of a recession, and there's money to be made no matter what the economy is doing. You have to pivot, you have to be creative, and like we were talking about before, there is no easy button in entrepreneurship. And if you're in it for the long haul, then you are going to have to take the hard knocks that come along with it. And as long as you're resilient and you figure out your way through the hard times, it's just going to make you that much stronger.
Okay. All right. James, when you hear the word recession, what does that trigger in your brain?
Well, it's different than when 08 hit, because I had bought a house in 06. 08 hit, and I was upside down, wasn't able to start my real estate investing the traditional way. Like, I didn't have any equity that I could leverage. And if I had known what I know now about subject to and seller financing and all the strategies that are perfect for now, I'd be in a whole different position. But I didn't know that. Now I am. And now I'm like, my time has come.
Yeah.
So it's a very different mindset.
Rayana, when you hear recession, what does that trigger in your mind?
I would just ditto what Kyle and Jeune said. It's an opportunity. I feel neutral about it. I've made it through a couple of recessions. Yes, Kyle, I'm old enough. and
You're wise.
I started a business, and it was a happy accident, and did well during a recession. And I think there's opportunity. And I guess that's a good way of putting it, is just neutral. It's whatever. I think I'm glad I'm not in the stock market heavily. It's some mutual funds and life insurance policies and stuff. But, I'm a survivor, and I'm creative. And several businesses I've had, when I went into them, I went in them thinking I was going to provide a certain service. And the market told me to provide something else that I wasn't planning to provide. And I pivoted, and I have that knack. I'm able to see opportunities where other people don't. So I'm creative. And also, I'm a survivor, and I don't have so much pride that if I have to drive Uber to survive, or, do other things to survive, I'm going to do what I've got to do to survive and be responsible. So for me, I think what it is I have a really strong faith in my ability to survive and to make money. I've always been able to do that.
There you go. There you go. You just said some powerful things, because it's a sink or swim, fight or flight mentality you need to adopt as a human being. As we start to wrap this show up, as being a human being, that's the underlying aspect of all of this, even though we're inundated with technology. So David,
it happens, man.
Yeah, it does. It does. David, when you hear the word recession, what triggers in your mind?
I would venture to say that we're, other than Kyle, because he's so young, we're probably all have the same mentality, and we're all the same personality type. I got into investment real estate in 2008, 2009, when the market collapsed. So when I got into rehabbing and wholesaling and all that, because I saw an opportunity, right? I had to shift because I was in the mortgage business, so there was no more mortgages to be had. So I had to find a new path, right? And I've always heard that people succeed for one of two reasons: either the fear of pain or desire for gain, right? My case at that time, it was the fear of pain, right? I was making 20, 30 grand a month in the mortgage business, and it all dried up and it went away. And I lost my house, and I had car payments and everything else. So I had to pivot, and I didn't have time to sit around and go, oh, poor me, what should I do now? I had to do something, and I had to act. And some people in a recession will just curl up in a ball and struggle and wait to get through it.
Right.
And other people will find the opportunity, and they'll say, what can I do to change my circumstance? What can I do to take advantage of this current economic climate? And I think it's what I did, and I think it's what we all would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're getting close to wrapping this up. So let's touch on the gratitude segment of this show. Okay. So we just went through 2022. I mean, we got a couple more days or whatever. So shit could all go downhill from here. No, just kidding. Anyway, so I'm going to start with everybody. Kyle, we'll start with you. What are you most grateful for in 2022?
Man, so I think it goes along with some of the themes we just talked about here, which is, 2022 taught me how to be resilient. It taught me how to be skillful in adopting new strategies and new ways of doing things and pivoting my business when I hit obstacles in certain things. What worked last year maybe didn't work this year so much. And that through that maybe stress, we call it, I like to think of the brain as a muscle, and then going through a lot of stressful times, ups and downs, allowed me to be more resilient. And it's now given me the confidence getting through this year to really attack 2023 on a strong note. And so that experience this year really helped me build that confidence to weather really any storm. And that's what entrepreneurship's all about. And I'm excited for a big year ahead.
Okay. And one thing I forgot I'm going to ask each one of you this. Kyle, what would you say is your biggest plan that you're going to focus on for 2023?
Ooh, I think marketing and branding. I really need to focus on doing these things here, getting out and meeting more people, getting in front of people more, getting them outside of behind the desk, and just the power of networking and social media. So me and Miss Ortiz might be meeting. Yeah,
I was thinking that. All right. So Jeune, what would you say you're most grateful for from 2022?
Yeah, I actually took a little bit of time to think about that because I wasn't sure what to be most thankful for. I feel like 2022 has been an incredible year, and it was just really hard to pick one thing to focus on. But I think for me, ultimately, what it came down to was just the relationships that I've developed through this entire year. I mean, reconnecting with Rayana and connecting with you, Antonio, and just, finding this incredible network of investors and entrepreneurs that have just provided me with so many amazing opportunities. And it's helped me grow just personally. It's helped me grow as a marketer, as an entrepreneur. It is just, forced me into some very uncomfortable places where, that's where you stretch, you grow, and you learn how to dig deep in yourself and become more. And so, every person that I've met this year has really put some big challenges in front of me. And I appreciate every single one of them.
Okay. So what's your biggest plan for this 2023 ahead of you?
So I am looking at buying my first multifamily this year. And so it's either going to be in the United States or in Mexico, which is going to be a real learning curve for me because, I don't know really anything about buying properties in Mexico, but I know it can be done. You put your properties in trust and things like that. So that'll be something that I'll be working on this year. Hopefully I will be able to get it done in this year. If not, then at least I will have gathered the knowledge and the resources that I need to make that happen.
I'm going to have to follow that journey because that is interesting to me. Yes, very much.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jeanne, I have several people that I know in Mexico that are real estate investors who I can connect you with that I think you would really enjoy being connected with, that can help you navigate that and speed up the learning curve for you.
Boom. Power of networking, people.
Yeah, exactly.
I lived there for 4 years, as you know. She was
Yeah.
my boss when we both worked at Fortune Builders.
Mhm.
And I was commuting and also trying to work remotely. And so because I went down there thinking I was going to buy and invest. And yeah, it's a different world, but I have several resources for you that can speed up the learning curve for anybody who's interested. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right.
You may find me, painting the fence and waxing the car. Thank you.
All right, James. 2022. What are you grateful for throughout that year?
There's a lot to be grateful for, but I'd say my relationships with like you, Antonio, doing the show, Toby Hansen, my business partner in lease options, and Jesse Mills, who taught me the business, and those kind of relationships help keep me inspired and driving forward and help support me, and I'm like, I don't know the answer, maybe somebody else does, things like that. I'm grateful for those.
Okay. And what is your biggest plans for 2023?
I have a problem focusing, and I've got a lot of things in play, just been building a lot of things kind of simultaneously. So trying to find a focus is hard. And just this year, I'm starting to add in coaching, helping Jesse build his coaching program, kind of helping the other new people along. And I'm excited about adding that in. And that will have effects on the rest of my business, because we, like in that business, we do joint ventures and stuff. So it's not just, another thing like, I like to do that because it makes me feel good. And it does. And that's kind of what drives me, but it will also help build the business and this network of people. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Everything's going back to being a human being every time.
That's one thing that was a happy revelation when I got into investing. I thought it was just going to be numbers and cutthroat. And it turned out to be this people business. Awesome.
I thought the same thing. Yeah. Awesome. Rayana, what would you say are the things that you're most grateful for in 2022?
Well, once again, not to, schmooze her, but, Jeanne, you got to call me once in a while first, because she steals she says exactly what I want to say. But I would say it's relationships and opportunities. I'm as an entrepreneur, when I coach people and for myself, 22 was a year where I had to step back and just stop what's working, what's not, a lot, so a few points throughout the year, and actually let go. And what wasn't working, let go, and not even know what was next sometimes. And that sounds like holy shit. And I'm a planner, but that actually really worked for me to like, wait, let me clear all the busyness that isn't getting me the results I want. Let me step back. I did that 2 or 3 times this past year. And what it did is just opened a space for opportunities to come to me. I didn't have to go make something happen. So, a little shift into the feminine energy, but not just sitting there like Pollyanna, but also relationships, like being here tonight. That wouldn't have happened last year. I didn't know any of you last year except for Jeanne, And shout out to Patrick Ypez, who's pulled
Yeah.
an amazing network of people together. And then just opportunities like, just throwing spaghetti on the wall when I'm in transition, dust off the resume. And before you know it, I'm the program director of a program at Start Virtual. And there's lots of opportunity at this company. And they wanted my skill set because they want me to help them develop things. So that's very fun for me. It's been just and then I acquired a piece of land that I've really wanted.
Nice.
And I had to really figure it out how I was going to do that, because how I thought I was going to do didn't work. You have to be creative. You have to pivot. I was determined. I was going to do whatever it took to get this piece of land. So, I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for relationships professionally, but also personally, because, I don't know about any of you, but I finally made peace with there's certain relationships in my life that I don't want them in my life anymore. You talk about making connections. I think when we let go of unhealthy relationships or relationships a lot with family and stuff that don't feel good, it makes room for good relationships to come into your life.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. You actually said exactly what I was thinking. So yes, very powerful. What are your 2023 biggest plans?
Well, okay, you heard it here first. So when you start to hear this phrase be used, know that I created it. I want to create micro communities. So 2023 is the year where I'm going to develop my own retirement community in my own backyard. That's what the piece of land was. And, just develop a few rentals and stuff, because I've done some house hacking. And then also I created the business Tiny House Village in a Box, and it's small tiny house villages. That's a trend that we haven't even scratched the surface, but it is the trend. It is where we're heading.
Yeah.
And especially newer generations, they don't want to be house poor. Generation Z's, the alpha generation coming, it's like a portable house that you're not house poor. And so I feel like the solution is to create the inventory. And so what I want to do is something that's it's so in alignment with my values. It's environmentally friendly. It gives people financial freedom, and then again, time freedom. People can own something, they can bring it with them. And I want to provide affordable living to the people that are getting priced out of home ownership, the middle class and the working class. So that's what I'm going to be up to in 2023.
You're reading my mind again, because I've only mentioned I've only mentioned an idea like that to just a few people. So you and I are on the same
We're
page.
We're going to have to chat about that.
Yeah. David. So 2022, what would you say you're most grateful for throughout this year?
I'm gonna piggyback on all of you. Spending 2 years in COVID, we were up in Michigan and locked down in the house for a lot of time. Nobody was out doing anything. And I really felt like, I was personally in a rut, just because I wasn't connecting with anybody. So we moved about a year and a half ago. We moved back down to Florida. We'd lived here, previously, but we came back down. And when we came back down, I consciously made the goal to just connect with more people. I said, I've got to get out of this, even if it's online, but I just have to make more relationships, because I'm a relationship kind of person. And I've been so lucky over the past year and a half. I mean, I've got relationships, literally, I've got friends all over the world that I talk to online. I've got good relationships here in Florida. I'm to an age now where I'm not shy anymore. When I was young, I was shy and had a hard time connecting with people when I was really young. And now I don't care. It's like, you like me or not, I am right. Who I am, but I just, I enjoy connecting. I enjoy trying to help people. trying to get into the real estate business and all that. And I don't, honestly, it's not really about money that much to me anymore. It's about just, connecting and helping.
All right. That's good. So with that said, what are your biggest goals for 2023?
With that said, well, I mean, about some of them. I'm working on the off-market MLS system. That's a big thing. I'm a shareholder in that company, which happened because I made connections and got invited in. Working on my a big project is working on my CRM, and which is going to. I'm trying to tackle the problem that we discussed earlier about people paying so much for software and not having access to connect to people and do all these things. So I'm trying to tie that all into one system. So that's I guess I'm moving from being an affiliate marketer into developing my own products and my own software. So I guess I'm in the tech startup business now, which is what 2023 is looking like. But, again, I need to get out there, still connect, still do a lot of social media stuff and build my personal brand.
All right, there you go. Sounds a little similar to me because you're going to have to hire some help there, buddy. Just like
we talked about that, right?
We did.
We need some help. Yeah.
My goodness.
What about you, Antonio? Answer your own questions.
Well, I was going to save it for later, but I'll go ahead and hit you with it. So, I hate to just repeat everything, but man, I'm thankful for all the connections I've made this year. And just Rayana, you mentioned it. You mentioned Patrick. Patrick has made a lot of great connections happen. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for all the relationships I've made through the podcast episodes I've done. I've done a lot of podcast episodes in 2022. And man, I've met people there's no way I would have ever had the chance to meet or talk to or get to know or learn about. And so I'm super grateful for the connections and relationships I've created. I'm grateful for all the information I've learned from everybody, all of you. So, I mean, my gratitude's really quite off the charts because I've gotten a lot of support from this community that I never really imagined before. Just like James said, when I first got into this industry, I was expecting to just be surrounded by sharks and don't talk to me, leave me alone. I got the absolute opposite. And that was, what are we going on 2.5 years ago? Okay. So I'm super grateful for everybody. Now, as far as plans for next year, my biggest goal is to get more traffic to my organization, which so far I've implemented a little bit and it's actually working. I don't know where these people are coming from, where this traffic's coming from, but it's starting to build already. So that is my main focus, is to get more traffic and more people to the organization. So that really gives me the opportunity to connect with more humans and help more people become successful and build some wealth. That's what my goal is for next year. So Amen. With that, I have a special announcement. I got my notes in front of me, make sure I don't screw up. I got a special announcement, but I got a special video to show you that goes along with it. So let's see here. Check this out.
Even though investing in yourself has proven to be the best strategy for building wealth for you and your family, it's not always so easy to find your tribe along your personal journey. In the world of business, it can sometimes feel daunting to seemingly always be in the good old boys club, where you may or may not be taken seriously. Well, now, real estate investing isn't just for the guys anymore. With real conversations about strategy, business relationships, actionable steps, financial goals, and more, you've just found your tribe. Welcome to United States Women in Real Estate Investing.
All right, so that's one of the goals as well, is to get that show launched. So the announcement is of that show, but here's the other part of that announcement. We're going to start with United States Women in Real Estate Investing San Diego. And the host of that show is going to be Jeune Ortiz.
Hey,
awesome.
That's going to be exciting. This is something I've been wanting to create for quite a while, and now it's starting to come together. And Janae was so gracious to say, I'll do it. It sounds like fun. So, Janae, what's wrong with you?
Just putting myself in the way of challenges, making me stronger.
You mentioned that earlier, and I was like, that falls in line with this. And the challenges is what makes us stronger and better. So, what do you think? What is one of the main things you think that you're going to, let's see, acquire from doing this show?
Oh, so much amazing, incredible knowledge. First of all, I'm so looking forward to interviewing some kick-ass women in real estate who are really leading the way. And a lot of times, I think that the women get overshadowed a little bit. There are so many amazing male role models for real estate investing, but the women are right there next to their side. And I'm just really excited to kind of learn as much as I can, find out more about them. And then, of course, educate the people who are listening on the show too, and hopefully help them find their way and help them see that if other women can do it, that they can do it as well. So I'm just really excited to mentor and be mentored as well.
That's it. Man, you said it all. Because, man, platforms like this, it helps people realize, wait a minute, they did it.
Yeah.
So why couldn't I do it? They're telling me that they were down in the dumps, and now look at them. So that means I have a chance at success too. That's why I love doing this stuff. And a lot of times women struggle to feel that confidence, or a lot of times women struggle to even get in the door because there's been historically male figures blocking their access to business and success and things like that. So that's why I'm really excited about creating a platform like this. I love it.
Very cool.
And more connections, connecting women to other women who are doing in investing. I think it's going to be so powerful. That's really incredible. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And I couldn't mention it before, but that is one of the things that I'm really, really grateful for as well. And
I'm grateful for you doing it.
It'll be a learning curve for both of us. So,
yeah. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wrap, let's get contact information from everybody. Kyle, hit us.
Yes, sir. So best way is social media. I'll do my business handle. It's at DIY Wholesaling. So for my Instagram, or my personal is the Kyle Connor with an O, not an E, DR.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Janae, what's your contact information?
The best way to contact me is probably on my website. It's reisocial.com. And of course, I've got some links from there to my social media sites as well.
All right, Mr. James A. Brown. James, I'm going to force you to start using your middle initial, sir, because the other James Brown overshadows anybody with that name.
That is true.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. One good way would be through, I've got a website, partner with jamesbrown.com.
Oh, good one. I actually like the hardest working man in real estate. That's one of the most genius phrases you've made connected to James Brown ever. So, awesome. Rayana, how do people connect with you?
You can either DM me on Facebook, Rayana T Starre, or go to my website, which is catalystcoachingsolutions.llc.com. And I'm going to be bold. If you're really interested in talking to me, 858-888-6763. Call or text.
Look at that. All right. Awesome. David, Mr. F, hit us.
Easiest way is to Google the Wholesaler's Toolbox, and you'll get about 2 pages of ways to contact me. Website, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, it'll come up. The Wholesaler's Toolbox.
SEO point.
SEO.
Yeah.
Baby.
Really.
How about you, Antonio?
Well, everybody can find me everywhere. UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com. You send an email through the contact form. I'm the one behind all of it. You can find me on social media Antonio __ Holman, HOLMAN. I think that's the same on all of them. Maybe not Facebook. But yeah, UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com. That's the easiest way to see everything. You can see all these wonderful people. Throughout 2023, you're going to see more of these wonderful people on that website. I guarantee that. All right, so stick around and you'll see them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove every one of you and end the show, but do not go anywhere. All right, so we have come to the end of the show. Wow, so that was a great show. That's my opinion. I don't know about yours, but I loved every second of it. I love doing these shows at the end of every year because it actually brings a little more insight to things. It kind of, to me, it kind of brings everything back together from the whole year that has been haywire, just like most years are. And I like the gratitude that is shown in these types of conversations. I like us to actually put that gratitude on display, whereas a lot of people don't realize the things that they're grateful for throughout the year. You tend to really realize your gratitude at the end of every year because, number one, you're still here with all of us and you get to continue to the next year to make your life even better or to make someone else's life even better. So that's why I feel a show like this is important, especially in this industry that's helping change the lives of so many people. So thank you all for being here today on this live stream. I hope everybody had fun and sent some chats and created some type of discussion amongst their friends and family and everything as they watched. And I just want to tell you, thanks again and have a happy new year. See you next year.